Hello, folks. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betcraft. It's another very beautiful Sunday morning, and it's a day behind a lot of great matches happening across the globe today. And we'll be looking at these matches in a short while. That's what we'll do on a daily basis. Taking a look at football games that are going on across the globe and making varies on each of these matches. All right, and it's actually based on the recent results for each of the teams that are playing the football matches. All right, that's what we'll do on a daily basis. And today, exactly what we're going to do in a short while, okay? And also want to remind you that we have our VIP special membership in this very channel. We always put out games that are actually having that higher probability of coming out correctly. You can always endeavor to join our VIP special, with the link in the description of this very video. And, as you can always access those games that we put out there that always have the possibility of coming out correctly. Yesterday's games on the VIP, we won everything that we had there, and hopefully today we're going to do the same. All right, and back to this game. The first game for today is in the La Liga. The biggest game for the day is actually Real Madrid coming up against FC Barcelona. Okay, and we know that these two are eternal rivals, and we know that in the last six for Real Madrid, we've seen them winning 5 games and losing just once. And for Barcelona, in the last six, they've lost 2 already, and they also had 4 wins out of the last 6 matches. Okay, when you take a look at these two sides how they fare from home, we could see Real Madrid have been very perfect from home. They've actually won the entire matches they've had from home. 10 out of 10 home matches have seen them winning all the 10 matches. Okay, that's a very strong side for Real Madrid. And when you look at the Barcelona side, the last 10 away games they had also saw them winning 8 games and the last 10 away matches. That's a very good one for Barcelona as well. They also had 1 draw as well as 1 loss in the last 10 away outings for FC Barcelona. A very good side as well. And we know that on head-to-head basis, and Barcelona have been very dominant against this Real Madrid side in recent games, especially last season. We saw Barcelona beating this very side on 4 occasions out of 4. That's a very strong statement for Barcelona. And would they be doing the same today? Who knows? That it actually adds a lot of spice to this very encounter, and it's going to be a very heated one. And the last 10 meetings between the two sides have actually produced lots of goals and have not been a draw in the last 10 meetings. That's to say that there's always a winner when these two sides meet. So we are going with over 2.5 to be our verdict for this very one. We expect to see either side winning, but we're going to see at least 3 goals in this very encounter. So it is 12 and over 2.5. That's our verdict for that very encounter. All right, next is in the England Premier League, where we have Aston Villa who will be up against Manchester City. And we will look at the recent result for these two sides. You can see Aston Villa in the last 6. We've seen them winning 5 games and losing 1 out of the last 6 matches. That's a very good result for that side. And for Manchester City, who have been in fine form of recent, we saw 5 wins out of 6 as well as 1 draw in the last 6 games. Manchester City have been in very good form. Okay, and looking at how this side fared from home and away basis, you can see for Aston Villa, the last 10 home games they had have produced 8 wins for them, also 1 draw as well as 1 loss in the last 10 home appearances for Aston Villa. That's to say 80% of the time they've always won from home. And also for the away side, Manchester City in the last 10 away games, it is 6 wins and 2 draws. And we also saw 2 losses in the last 10 away matches for Manchester City. And we do know that the home side, Aston Villa, the last 10 home matches that they had produced a lot of over 2.5, 6 times out of 10. And we also saw that in Manchester City's outings 4 times out of 10. But we'll look at how these two sides fared on head-to-head basis. You could see that's where the verdict is based on. We could see a lot of goals. In most of the meetings, and 7 times out of the last 10 meetings between the two sides, it has always produced goals over 3 in most of the matches. Okay, so it is an over 2.5. That is the most likely verdict for that very one. So home, it is over 2.5 rather. That's what we expect for that very encounter. Right, let's start into this prediction is in English Premier League. We have Arsenal FC. We're up against the Crystal Palace. Okay, we can see Arsenal FC have been perfect in the last 6. They've won 6 out of 6. A very good side, and they're in good form at the moment. And the away side, Crystal Palace, 3 wins and a draw. They also had 2 losses in the last 6 matches. Alright, when we take a look at the performances from home and away basis, Arsenal have been able to win 7 matches in the last 10 home games. They also had 1 draw as well as 2 losses out of the last 10 home matches. It is 70% of victory for the home side, when playing from home. And when you look at the away side, Crystal Palace, the last 10 away games they had produced 4 wins and 4 draws. They also had 2 losses out of those 10 away matches that they had so far. And the last time both is bet, it was a 2-2 draw, between these two sides on that very occasion, And also when you take a look at, how the goal scoring, you could see that, the meetings between the two sides, you could see that Arsenal have actually dominated against Crystal Palace. The last 10 meetings between the two sides have seen Arsenal winning on 7 occasions out of the last 10 meetings between the two sides. It is Arsenal who have actually dominated this meeting. Okay, so the reason we are going to expect the home side Arsenal to achieve a result against Crystal Palace in this very encounter. So it is the home side who have won 7 times against Crystal Palace on the last 10 meetings to actually win our trophy in this very one. So it is home side to win. That's our verdict for that very one. Okay. All right. Lastly, a game in the Turkish Super League. We have Galatasaray who will be up against Göztepe, and we know that Galatasaray have been in good form. They've won 5 games and a draw in the last 6 games, and we could see Göztepe on the other hand 2 wins and 3 draws, as well as 1 loss in the last 6 games. And we know Galatasaray, especially, we saw them defeating the likes of Liverpool, and we saw them in the Champions League, also beating Bodo Glimt. It's a fine side, at the moment they're in good form, and the current Turkish champions, at the moment. And when you look at how these two sides fared from home and away perspective, you can see for the home side, Galatasaray, the last 10 home matches that they had so far produced 8 wins and 2 draws. They never lost a single match in the last 10 home games. They are doing very well. They're beating and pounding teams, whenever they're playing from home. And we saw that in the Champions League as well. And looking at Göztepe, on the other hand, they've had 4 victories and 2 draws, but have also lost 4 matches out of the last 10 appearances from away, not the best side from away, but they've been able to achieve 40% victory in those away games. And then when you take a look at how they fared from home and away, from head-to-head perspective, you can see that the Galatasaray have been very, very dominant of this very tie. We saw them winning 9 times out of 10 in the last 10 meetings between the two sides. Göztepe only managed just 1 win, and that has been far back into 2-1. And Galatasaray have actually dominated this very meeting, and we are going to expect them to also, win from home in this very one. So it is some side to win out shortly. That's our verdict for that very account, and that will conclude it for us today on the Betcraft. I also note that other games that we have for you today will be on our VIP special. Don't forget to join. You can always find the link in the description of this very video, or anywhere you see join channel membership around this very video. With that said, we remember to play responsibly, as it's a football match. Sometimes it may not always be exactly what was expected. And tomorrow is another day. We're back with our predictions on this very channel. Do not miss out. But until then, keep winning.